Hey everybody, it's Chef Todd Moore, and we're back together again today on a Thursday. So I thought I would jump in here and just show you what's going on. I'm doing prep for dinner tonight. I'm going to do a stir fry, and let me tell you how this all came about, because there's a lot of elements that come together whenever I think, I better set all the equipment up and the camera and the lights, because I need to share this with everyone. So it takes a little bit of bombardment into my brain to finally say this is something important enough to share with everyone. So the first thing is I get a lot of questions, and I have gotten a lot of questions this week in reference to stir frying on the stovetop, saute kind of thing. Specifically, Chef Todd, when I stir fry green beans, they're burned on the outside, but they're not soft in the middle. I go to my local Chinese restaurant, or I go to my Thai restaurant, and they have a curry dish that's got little bits of string bean in it, and the string beans are so nice, they're like caramelized, especially the Chinese beans, but they're so soft in the middle. Oh my goodness, how do they do that? Because my string beans always come out crunchy. My carrots always come out crunchy. And today, if you're suffering from crunchy carrots or mushy mushrooms, I want to share with you the chef's secret that goes on before your stir fry gets stir fried, because it all has to do with prep in the kitchen. So I started saying, let me tell you how this all came about. So the questions come at me. Chef Todd, how do I make things come out all the same in a stir fry? How do I avoid my carrots being burned on the outside and just being hard and crunchy, and it's just not really good in a stir fry? And then I reached into my refrigerator today, and look who I found. All right, this is about 2 weeks old. 2.5 weeks old maybe. This is a bunch of green onions or scallions that it has no right still being alive at 2.5 weeks old, right? It should be wilted, it should be all fallen off. But just like I've shown you before with fresh vegetables, fresh ingredients, this is a perfect example of something that needs to be stood up in water and a humidity tent put over the top of it in your refrigerator, and it will last weeks and weeks. And look what I do to it. Just like a flower from my garden. You see all the spots that I've cut off some green onions? So this, I don't just buy it for one dish. It lasts for weeks in my refrigerator. I also found these at the grocery store, and I haven't had them in a while, and I said, man, some shiitake mushrooms would be great. At the time I bought them, I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but I bought them anyway. Make sure you say shiitake, 3 syllables. Don't make it 2 syllables and you'll get bleeped. I always have sesame oil, so that's starting to roll around in my head now. And then the catalyst for a lot of this, I found these things at the grocery store. They're stir-fry noodles. I've never tried them before. They come in a vacuum packed bag. So the questions are coming at me about stir fry. I've got stir fry on the brain. I've got green onions in the fridge. I'm finding stir fry ingredients jumping out at me at the grocery store when I go. So it's got to result in a stir fry. But I have to answer that question. What is the secret that chefs use? And to demonstrate this, I've done a little experiment that you certainly can do in your own home kitchen. If you remember a few weeks ago, we did a tale of 3 chickens, I think it was, 3 or 4 chickens. Well, they're going to be a little bit like a tale of 4 carrots, because the direct conductive heat on the stove is too intense for a raw carrot. So to do stir fry, this is the chef's secret, things get prepped ahead of time. Items get steamed. Items get poached. And if you're a member of web cooking classes, you know a touch of baking soda in steaming liquid for green broccoli makes it brighter and greener. They do that also when they're prepping. They steam things, they poach things, they roast things. So when it's time to go onto the quick, intense heat of the stir fry, of the wok, then everything is cooked at the same. So your carrot should be the same consistency as your mushroom when it meets the pan. So here's the experiment. The first thing I did was I julienned a whole bunch of carrots. Remember, what was it, 2 weeks ago? From round to plank, from plank to stick, from stick to dice. Go back and see that episode if you want to know how I julienned carrots. Go to my Facebook page here and click on videos, or go to Chef Todd Moore on YouTube. So first thing I did was roast carrots, and these are the roasted carrots. And of course, roasting is a dry cooking process, so it destroyed the texture of these carrots, but it did brown them a little bit, right? They have a nice little color to them, but they're really shriveled angled and they're all bending over. So I'm not sure I want to roast carrots and then put them in a stir fry. The next example I have for you are my raw carrots, and these, you can hear they're crunchy. The raw carrots, I've got 2 saute pans over here. Let's go to the back of the stove. The raw carrots, I'm going to go ahead and put in that dry saute pan. Yes, it's a non-stick pan because I'm not developing any fond. I don't need any pan fond. I'm not making a gravy out of carrot jus. So let's take those absolutely raw carrots and put them in the wok, in the stir fry kind of thing like most people do. But here's the trick, and here's what I came to tell you about today, because here are the carrots that I pre-steamed. All right, here's my nice steamer basket that I love to work with. And the carrots that are pre-steamed, they're nice and soft, but notice they're not falling over. Look how it bounces back. They're not falling over like the roasted carrots. These carrots, yum, 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 don't really crisp. They don't really crunch in my mouth. So what have I done here? I've already gone ahead and broken down the texture of these carrots, the fibrous nature of them, and made them soft, right? They're not going to brown under steam. This is the opposite of the roasted carrot, which has lost its texture entirely and is falling over, but is a little browner. So here's the key. Let's pretend this is our stir fry, and I'm going to throw these pre-steamed carrots into my wok, all right? We're going to hit both of them with just a touch of sesame oil as a conduit for the heat. And you can tell those pans are hot because that sesame oil starts to smoke right away. Sesame oil has one of the lowest smoke points of any oil you're going to cook with. So you are going to get smoke because in stir fry, you know, it's a little bit of a contradiction, right? Because we want to use high direct heat in stir fry, but usually we use oils and things that have the lowest smoke point. So it's a really tough balance to get your wok to the highest temperature so you can brown something without smoking the oil. But the illustration that I want to make here today is the difference between raw carrots being sauteed and pre-steamed carrots being sauteed, because this is really the key to having your item nice and brown, having a good color on it, but also having it nice, soft, and texture. So this pan I'm flipping now, raw carrots, right? Cut them into julienne, put them in the pan. This pan here, these are the pre-steamed carrots that are now in the saute. And here's the point. Okay, because so if I'm going to do my stir fry, which is also going to include the noodles that I showed you, the mushrooms that I showed you, oh, the shrimp. The shrimp are resting nicely in the refrigerator, you'll be glad to know. But eventually it's all going to come down and come into this pan that's going to be the wok for the stir fry. Which carrots would you choose? Here's the question. So let's take the raw carrot out of the pan. All right, here's the carrot. That's raw. You can see how hot it is. It's still very stiff, right? We haven't really lost much texture on it. And look at this. And it's still, there it is, it'll break. That carrot is as hard as when I put it into the pan originally. Why is that? Because the direct intense heat of the pan is not going to break down the fibrous nature of the item. What we need for that to do is to bring the water in the carrot to 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. It turns to steam, it busts the cell walls of the carrot, they degrade, that's how you soften a carrot. Well, that's going to be hard to do under direct conductive heat. But the second pan are the carrots that I steamed first. And look at the nice color. Get it against white. There you go. Look at the nice color on that carrot because it was already soft and we used it in the direct, intense cooking method. Let's check the tension on it. Look, it just kind of breaks away. It's nice and soft. Now, when I do a stir fry that has, carrots, mushrooms, shrimp, broccoli, water chestnuts, just the range of textures of things that go into your stir fry. The chef secret is do your mise en place. although in a Chinese restaurant or Japanese restaurant, they don't call it mise en place, probably. Everything in its place first. You can't just take raw broccoli, raw carrots, raw mushrooms, and make a stir fry out of it. And that's why a good stir fry is a skillful thing, because you need to steam, poach, grill. There is always a cooking method before everything winds up in the wok. And when you're cooking with the freshest ingredients and you want to get the sweet flavor of those carrots and you want to get the texture of these ingredients that you went and spent your money on, why not cook them in the best way? You don't want crunchy carrots and mushy mushrooms in the same stir fry. The chef's secret is prep. Doing them all together to the same texture right now. And this is one of the 5 skills that I talk about that's going on right now. My class this week, what is the class this week? Oh yes, it's 5 simple steps. There it is. Buy fresh, cook simple, eat well. 5 simple steps toward healthy cooking. This is the class going on this week, and it's one of the things that I demonstrate in that class also is how to retain the color of these items. I mentioned baking soda for green items before. There is a way to retain the white color of your white vegetables for cauliflower, for potato salad, things like that. And you can see that in this free class that's now available to you. If you want to sign up and go to the next available session, it's webcookingclasses.com/fresh. Go hold a spot in the class. It's adding new additions all the time. Go hold your spot there. Pick a time that's right for you so that you can make the most out of the fresh items of the season and cook your carrots and your string beans correctly so that you have the best stir fry ever. Hey, thanks so much for coming into my kitchen with me today. It's Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to your fresh cooking success. We'll see you soon.